Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacalyn. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacalyn at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is the United Kingdom, headlines, news, and culture. We've got a full house. Let's bring out our special guests today, my co-host, Diann, Floyd, Boehm, and our special correspondents, Helena and Ian, and Simon. Welcome.
Hey.
Good afternoon.
Lovely to see you. I love your American
Spangling
talk.
I think we both put on the dress now. We'll have to get.
It feels fun to dress up sometimes, you know, and just put on something patriotic. And Diann and I are kind of matching today. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. You are
I tried the patriotic thing with the kilt a few shows ago, and yeah, you got it once.
That was it. Well, we're glad, and people can see the replay over on our YouTube channel, USA Global TV. So that's fantastic. Before we begin with the news and whatever is going on in the world, I know we've got some great clips. I just want to spotlight each of you, and for people who are joining us for the first time, if you can just give some background about yourself and the United Kingdom and your connection to it. We'll start with Diann, Floyd, Boehm.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. So I am a children's author, and I actually have my first young adult historical fiction novel out as well. So that's very exciting. I always like to share different things about on my side of the family, but actually I have a tidbit for our friends in England. So the inkwell that was used for the signing of the Declaration of Independence was Philip Syng. And sometime if you are interested, I'll give you a little bit of history, but his family actually came from England. And he designed the inkwell for the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And that's my connection on my husband's side of the family.
Oh, thank you, Diann. You are just a wealth of information. I love it. Thank you. All right. And next in line, we've got Simon Macdonald.
Hello, everybody. Back again. I am just keeping my head above water just now, having suffered from 3 storms, and there's a 4th one on the way. So somebody once said, yeah, these things happen in 3s. Well, not in Scotland, they don't. We get a few more of them. But apart from that, mint condition. It's been busy up here. Everybody mopping up and shoveling out, and there's snow in the hills and snow coming lower down on the road as well. Just had to cancel a trip up to the Northwest Highlands just because of too much snow.
Thank you, Simon. And of course, I already shared before backstage, it's 81 degrees Fahrenheit here, and it's absolutely stunning. So I'm really sorry. It is bathing suit weather.
We don't want to hear this.
I think we're on red alert, I think. I think we're
on about 6 degrees today. So.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask Simon, if I may, does it affect the fish? All these storms, does it affect the salmon at all?
Yeah, it makes them seasick.
They're not swimming like they usually do.
It makes it a bit difficult to go out and catch them. I mean, you're in sort of 80, 100-foot waves. You decide it's probably best just to stay in bed instead. And a lot of the fish do exactly that as well. It's been pretty wild here. The water and everything's got really, really churned up. There's been a few disasters with boats getting broken up on their moorings and in piers and so on. So the insurance companies will be running and hiding just now because there's going to be quite a few claims going in, not just for that, but the trees blowing down, roofs being demolished with trees, cars being crushed. It's been quite a mess here. And I know in England as well, they've been getting it too. They still are. You're getting a lot of flooding in Shropshire, and but it's just a little bit warmer where you are. You're near the equator, so it's going to be better.
Give us some sun. We want some sun. We do.
Let's move over to Helen and Ian, and hello to all of our friends who are following us from the UK. We really appreciate it, and it all started because of you two.
Oh, thank you. So yes, I've worked with Ian for years and years and years. But so I'm Helena Chard. I work in broadcasting, specialising in royal. So expert in royal, so royal photography, royal correspondent, but also delivering the news. And one of my passions is to be able to put people on platforms so people can shine and, you know, do what they're good at. That's a simplified version, but there's lots more. And over to Ian.
I was just saying, when I first started working with Helena, I had virtually blonde hair. And you know,
sort of looks a bit blonde to
12 years on. I think you know, the reality today is that as people know, we are experts on the royal family. So we talk about the royal family a lot across the world. We have our own show now in Britain that we'll invite you all as guests before too long. And we just love what we do. So, you know, it is one of those opportunities of saying every single week or most weeks, you know, that we're going to do our live show for America, and everybody looks at us with great applause.
Yeah, we love it, Dr. J.
Well, thank you. We love it too. It's just wonderful. And as I said before, and I really mean it, a lot of the success we have here at USA Global TV is a tribute to the two of you and everyone you've introduced us to. Simon, you just mean so much as well. We had a great interview with you on Friday. And Diann, you are such a great cheerleader and supporter of me and our team. So thank you to all of you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I think we all love it. It's, I mean, we're really family now. I think we're definitely just we're family.
Yes.
I think the next time we meet, we'll have to wear a Yirha shirt or something, or blouse. You know, we're not going to be outdone by Dr. Jacalyn.
Well, I was thinking to myself. Sorry, go ahead.
I think the thought of Ian wearing either a Union flag or a Stars and Stripes bikini is just probably a little bit more than the miniature screen can take.
Did you say bikini? No.
Wait, I want to remind you, by the way, you can actually watch this show on your television. My sister watches it on her big screen TV on YouTube, which is it's actually scary to see when you're this big. That big, so.
I'm not sure. That sounds a bit too.
So in terms of the news, there's a lot going on, and we read over here that the Queen has a case of COVID, and she continues to go on. It's amazing to me. She's so strong.
Yeah, I mean, she is. She's absolutely fabulous. And I keep saying what people forget is that she is 96 in April. So everyone's saying, oh my goodness, the Queen, she's looking a little bit frail, but she's 96. I mean, and she's still working. She contracted COVID on Sunday. She is feeling under the weather. She had to cancel some of her online work, but she's working. She's doing light work. So she's got her keep calm and carry on attitude. It's the audiences that are cancelled, but she's still doing, looking at her little red box and signing things, and all the things that she loves to do, and that keeps her going. Also, her horse won a race on Sunday, so that gave her a big smile. The horse is King Cardine, and that was at Newbury Racecourse, and she's doing fine. She's doing fine. She's managing to send regards to the curlers. Ian can't bear it when I start speaking about the curlers. The curlers, we won our gold award in Beijing. Whoop, whoop. That was for the female team, and silver award for the male team. And as Simon will know, actually a lot of curling takes place in Scotland because they have the facilities. Here in London, UK, we don't have anything, I don't think. But so, you know, Her Majesty the Queen sending lovely messages. So she's doing really, really well. And the fact that, you know, all the royals are working at the moment, also, if there was a problem, people, you know, royals would not be working. And of course, we've got the Duchess of Cambridge. Diann is wearing the right colour today with that lovely red jacket. We've seen her all over the news, Duchess of Cambridge in Denmark, and she's there representing the UK. She's also there for the Royal Foundation, looking into research to do with young children, because they are the leaders. They've got it completely right in Denmark. But there's a fantastic little clip. I mean, only Kate, she just does it so well. I don't know how she manages to do it. There's a clip of her on one of the early learning centres where they have a Lego slide, and there's, you know, she's like, I want to say Kate. I should say the Duchess of Cambridge, but she's there in her red jacket, her high heels, and everything, and she just comes whizzing down the slide. You know, because she's so tall with all her legs and her heels and hair whooshing. And does it so gracefully, and then she's managed to sort of like get up. You know, everyone's packing her and got the videos rolling. She looks immaculate, and she's smiling. It's just such a lovely attitude to have. I was putting myself in that position if that was me in my heels all ready and glam, knowing you've got the cameras on you. The last thing you'd want to do was to be clambering up a slide and whooshing down, but she did it amazingly well. And as always, you know, she was wearing this red jacket, which was just from the high street, £60, I think, something like Zara. So obviously they sell out straight away, so nothing fancy. And they were comparing, we don't have pictures today, but they were comparing her in an outfit that the late Princess Diana was wearing, which was pretty similar, but hers was more designery. So it's, yeah, everyone is busy. The royals are busy, but there's so much going on at the moment. Just lots and lots of things, but we don't always want to speak about the royals, I guess. There's other things that we want to talk about. I think, Ian, have you got something to talk about?
Well, I was just going to say, I was going to talk another royal thing, because a strange analogy happened this week. And the analogy is that if the Queen is indisposed, then the natural progression are her children. And that would mean bringing Prince Andrew back into the fray to do some events. And there's been a lot of talk this week about should Prince Andrew, you know, is he going to sort of really disappear altogether from the public eye? But if the Queen happens to sort of really fall seriously ill, we hope she doesn't, of course. But if she does, then the reality is that the children then come in on a line of assumption. So it is going to be a very interesting time, I think, for royal watchers as well. But she seems to be so stoic, you know, and you know, she's smiling away, and you know, I mean, you know, I think she's discovered Zoom now, the Queen, and so she's zooming everybody at the same time. And there was just another very quick story that a few years ago, when the Queen was seriously, well, she wasn't seriously ill, but she was quite ill one Christmas. And then she didn't go to church on Christmas Day, which is one of the most famous things to actually happen. And I was getting asked, you know, is she dying? You know, and there's all these TV crews coming in. Is she dying? Come on, tell us the truth. Is she dying? And I knew what she was doing, but I couldn't say at the time. She was actually sat up in bed, and she was ringing all her courtiers, finding out what they were watching on television. And it really caught my eye, because at the time I wonder what ringtone you use for the Queen. But it could be the national anthem, and they think, oh God, that's the Queen ringing up. Or it could be Queen, we are the champions, you know. I often wonder what her courtiers use as the ringtone for the Queen herself. But so the Queen goes on. Add
Queen does.
information.
I just want to add something as well, because what Ian was saying, it's to do with the council. It's a council, and there are, obviously Prince Andrew. I think Prince Harry actually is involved in that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, but in order really, there's a special law that it has to go through the courts. There's a law that has to be passed to release Prince Andrew, Prince Harry, etc. But it would be too much time. It would too much money, because it would never happen. Because at the moment, obviously, Her Majesty the Queen is doing things online, very local things, and everything is being sort of slowly passed over to the Duke Duchess of Cambridge. So it would never get to that situation, and we all know that. So I just wanted to make that clear, just in case people think, oh my goodness, we've got Prince Andrew that are going to suddenly take over from Her Majesty's work. That will never happen. It really won't. So yeah, that was my bit to add to it.
Thank you for that clarification. Wow, that's the Queen just amazes me. I wonder, do you think she makes her own phone calls? You said she was sitting up in the bed. Does she actually dial the calls, or does someone get the person on the phone for her?
I would imagine she's got a speed dial. It just amused me, because I often think, even to this day, if I ever was on the speed dial for the Queen, what ringtone would I use to actually sort of, inform me? Because it's. I told you the story recently where I got woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning by an Australian channel, and they were sending me messages, and all I could see was London Bridge, which was the euphemism. The Queen has passed away. And waking up at 3 in the morning, it's pitch black. I can't, I'm panicking because I can't even find the light switch. All I can see is this situation. So these things happen all the time, and I think because of her age as well. I mean, she's doing remarkably well. I have to say,
she's doing well.
Yeah.
I think it conjures up a wonderful image. The thought of Her Majesty sitting up in bed and dialing away and accidentally gets the wrong number. Hello, this is Her Majesty here. Hey. I mean, at the other end, could you just imagine it?
Yes, they wouldn't believe it. Probably would just hang up.
They'll be checking the calendars to see if it was April the 1st. Right, don't know. She's very lucky. She gets 2 birthdays in the year.
Wow.
Yes, that's it. I mean, she, so if one doesn't work, then she's got another one to fall back on. I think it's a wonderful.
Can I just put a plug on this?
Yes, I can.
Her birthday is 4 days before my birthday. Not that I'm expecting anything.
And will you be celebrating a special birthday?
It's not this year, because last year, obviously it was a special birthday. It was my 70th.
I know. I just didn't know if you were going to admit it or not on air. But
obviously our great friend, Jacalyn friend Philip was there, and our other friends as well. For my 70th. So it's going to be slightly different this year. So I think, but we're still going to. Well, I hope we're still going to celebrate it.
Yeah, maybe not so elaborate. Something low key, a picnic here maybe or something.
Well, speaking of picnics, what do we have going on there today?
Well, I have to say, I'm ravenous today. I'm really thirsty. So when Ian turned up with some crisps and sandwich, we've been at the crisps already. It's so naughty. Keep us going.
Crisps are also what you call potato chips.
Potato chips, yes.
Ah, I was thinking they were apple crisps.
Oh,
no. So we well, I won't go through, but Simon will be pleased to know I've got my smoked salmon sandwiches again. So we're doing our bit to keep the Scottish industry going.
We need your money, Ian. We need your money.
I'm a big fan of smoked salmon. I haven't had it in a long time, but I would have it on a toasted bagel with cream cheese and capers.
Yeah.
We're really hungry.
Wow. Oh, dear.
You'll see us diving over the sofa in a bit.
Diann, are you a smoked salmon fan?
Yes, and when I was living in Dubai, we lived in a hotel, and so we got to have smoked salmon every morning. Because, they fix it for you. So, respectively.
So nice.
I was very spoiled. That was my princess life. Now I cook my own breakfast.
And I just get one of those bars with, the ingredients, 25 letters or more. You don't even know what's in it. And after all, everybody we have on this platform talking about not to eat processed food, it's just easy to grab. So, but
that's it. When smoked salmon should be good Scottish salmon, and salt, sea salt ideally, and then a little bit of brown sugar takes the sting out of the salt. That's all the ingredients you've got, other than the oak smoke itself. That's all you need.
Sounds so good.
Yummy.
Really good.
Wow. Well, I know we've got some additional news, and we also have some clips that we want to share today as well.
Yeah, I think so. Should we go? I mean, yesterday, myself and Ian, we met Miss England. Lovely. Her name is Helena Chard, and she was on our other show, and delightful. She turned up with full regalia, as we call it. She had her crown and her sash, and was looking stunning. And we had a chat with her, because when I think about Miss World years and years ago, it was very much all to do with looks, wasn't it? And not very much more. It was almost a bit bimbo-y, if I'm honest. But now things have come on so much with the girls, and they do a lot of good. And I was really, really thrilled to meet Rahema, because she was sharing the reason why she was doing what she was doing. And obviously she was on her way to Miss World, but she's an ambassador for a couple of charities. And one of the reasons why she decided to enter was to do with the fact that she had been through an abusive relationship prior to everything. She'd managed to, there was court cases and various things going on. She'd got through it, but she wanted to then obviously work with a charity or a few charities that helped women in these terrible situations. Anyway, so we have a wonderful clip, and I think it would be good to show it. It features Mel B, as we all know. She's a famous singer and known for lots of things. I didn't know, lots of people didn't realise that she was in an abusive relationship for, I think, 10 years. She's now divorced from her then husband, and it's all come out. But the video, my brain is just failing me at this moment. I was about to say the Women's Institute, and it's not at all what we're talking about.
It's called Women's Aid.
Oh, sorry, it's Women's Aid, and it spells it out. It's really quite powerful. There's lovely music in the background as well, but it takes you through. It's real life stories that have been worked into it. So I think let's show it. I think it's a good, powerful piece. So there you go. It's really powerful, isn't it? Mel B is MBE. She got her MBE through working with Women's Aid. And Rahema, that we met yesterday and interviewed. She is also working with Women's Aid, and she is working on. It's a project called Phoenix Rising. And this is a project where she will be going into schools and speaking to youngsters, because it's about educating and obviously continuing the conversation so that they understand what healthy relationships are. So, great admiration for Rahema Mathamia. So she's doing great. But Women's Aid obviously do such great work, as do lots of charities. And it's just so wonderful to as we always say, Dr. J, to give people a platform. And it's like with anything, there's a lot of shame that goes hand in hand with, in this instance, and lots of other situations as well. But the way to overcome it is to talk. It's simple communication, so everyone can help. We can all talk, we can all help. It normalises the situation because it happens. There's Mel B, who we never would have dreamt that she would have been in that situation for 10 years. And now she's obviously fairly strong, but she even says in that, even now she's still going through it. She's got, her ex-husband's children. She's still going through court cases, But amazing, really strong. I hope everyone enjoyed that. I know it's not such a great subject in a way, but it's real. It's our life.
Yes, it's very, very moving. And to think that we see her in the public eye, and over those 10 years, she was in the public eye and she didn't even have access to her bank account to be able to get away. It just goes to show you that you never know who's going through something like that. And people always ask the question, well, why do you stay? Well, why do you stay? Well, it's not that easy in some cases to leave because you don't have any access to money or a place to go or people that even believe you, because they'll say, oh, you know, he seems so nice. He seems like such a great guy, or she seems so wonderful.
Yeah.
But at home, it's a different story.
And I think, I mean, for me, because I actually remember Women's Aid starting. It started in London in 1973. And I think it's a constant, really, why on earth? And I get why the charity is necessary and the whole movement is necessary. But you would have thought by now, hopefully, that men would have treated women in a much more kinder way, in a much more positive way, that we would have grown up and seen the issues. And I think, these days, hopefully, there's more education for young men to be talked to about how to treat and create respect for women at the same time. But it is still very necessary, obviously, because I think that the figure is something like about 30 or 40 deaths a year. And as an MP, one of our members of parliament, who every year announces the names of all the women who have been killed by their husbands or their spouses.
I think it's actually higher. Mel B just mentioned it.
Yeah, she's one every 4 days, right? Isn't that what she said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but it was slightly higher. Yeah. So yes, that's we found it. It was a lovely interview with Rahema. So hopefully she'll go on and do great things.
She's off to Puerto Rico.
She is. That's where this world is taking place.
We did offer to go with her, but
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. That's really important, and thank you to both of them for the work that they're doing. And Mel being so brave to come forward and share her story to inspire others and let them know they're not alone.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we also, I'm just going to say just very quickly, just moving on, and it's a sad scenario here in the UK. Jamal Edwards, MBE, very, very well known, age 31. He unfortunately passed away the other day, and it has left the whole of the UK so upset. I mean, he was such an amazing guy, and he basically brought the sound of London to the whole world. He worked with charities, but for me, what struck me about him, his humility and his huge passion to help young people believe in themselves. What he did, he's from a young age, brought up in Acton, council house, not too many privileges, but he realised when he was at school that a lot of his friends were like MCs and they used to perform and used to be great performers, but nobody could get themselves onto things like MTV at the time and get themselves onto platforms at all. And he decided to actually form his own TV station. And when he started, he was actually 15, and the channel was SBTV, and it still is there. And he brought the likes of Ed Sheeran, Stormzy, Jessie J, people like that, huge, mighty people, has given them their platform. So amazing. It's such a lovely guy. He realised that obviously it's symbiotic, the relationship. You've got a 50% or more possibly is the talent, but there's lots of people with talent. It's about giving them the platform to get out there. So he's admired by so many. He was an ambassador of Prince Charles, the Prince's Trust. Formed loads of charities for youths. To help them. I mean, it goes on and on, the huge things that he did. And there's been a vigil in Acton where he lived where he had a big mural because he was loved so much by everybody, and everyone's been there now for a few days. And really, you know, his legacy will live on, but it's just shocking. It was a short illness, and he's not with us anymore. And he had some great sayings, but one of the things I remember is he says, the goal isn't to live forever. The goal is to make something that will. And definitely he'll be sorely missed, but his legacy will live on. So I just wanted to say that, and obviously our thoughts and everything go out to the family, because it's quite a shock.
Mm.
I don't know if you know him. Do you know of him in the States? No, Jamal Edwards.
But I love the quote. That
I
you
do
said.
too.
That's worth repeating again. That's something we should all live by.
Absolutely, and such a selfless guy. Didn't ever want anything. Only wanted good for everyone, and that's why he did so well. You know, everyone loved him for that.
Yeah, it's a lovely saying, that as well. I mean, you know, it does provoke a lot of thought, that one.
It does, doesn't it? And I think, you know, that right now, with all the things that are happening, I mean, it's been a very hard news week, obviously in London, and I should mention in America as well, what's happening, you know, in Russia. Again, I wonder, you know, what's the American thoughts at the moment on this? Because, you know, we're watching our ends, what's happening, but it doesn't seem to be an answer at the moment, does it? You know, for what's going on.
To your point, there's so much going on, and it's all of it is just creates so much emotion, and sometimes you just feel like you're paralyzed to do anything, and you're at the mercy of, obviously, of the government, that, you know, the people that we have in power, and sometimes you just question the decisions, but you know, who am I to question?
It's so hard. I mean, we just, you know, everyone has the right to live freely, and it's just so unfair. I mean, all I can say is I do personally think that Putin's deranged. I don't know whether I should be saying that, but that's how I feel.
I'm not sure about that. I think, you see, but basically, you know, I worked in Moscow, and I met members of the KGB, and I met their philosophies as well. And at one stage, I was out with a theatrical impresario who was doing a very big deal. It was a multi-million-pound deal he was doing in Moscow itself with artists to bring them back across Europe. And he used to get phone calls at 3 a.m. with people whispering down the phone saying that the contract's not going to happen after all. You know, and there were some very sort of strange things that some of the intelligence services in Russia, you know, used to do. They play mind games, and I think this is what Putin is doing right now. You know, personally, I don't think. I think he would be too stupid to actually really invade the whole of Ukraine, because I think the whole world would come down on his shoulders as well. And the big thing, and the big plus this week, I think, is how Britain and America have come together, along with the rest of Europe and East European countries, to actually condemn this whole thing, and how we've worked together to actually try and stop what's happening right now.
I agree with you. Yeah, that's. Simon, you look like you were going to say something.
No, you know, totally agree. You know, I mean, we've got to try and everything we can to avoid any more conflict than is already going on in the world, and really something of this magnitude in particular, you know, for us on the, you know, on this side of the Atlantic, we're pretty close to the action, if you like. I mean, I think that just not that far away from me, then I suppose we've got the Faslane nuclear submarine base. But it's the reality of this suddenly hits very, very close to home, and it's going to take a lot of diplomatic persuasion to pull it all back from the brink, and I really hope they do.
I do too, and I feel like everyone in the world, we've gone through this pandemic together, right? We've all had to change and evaluate, let go of things, embrace new things. And I think people are just in such need of peace. We just want inner peace, world peace, support each other. We don't want wars and all this discourse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Did anyone see, I mean, just on a light note to do with this, a gentleman called Philip Crowther, he's gone viral, and he works for PA, and he's been broadcasting on the whole affair, and he broadcast in 6 different languages, and it went out to all these different places. Did you see it? Which is absolutely amazing. He put it out himself. I can't. Luxembourgish. That was one of the. I didn't even know it was Luxembourgish. Did you know that that's what they speak in Luxembourg? Am I silly?
No, I didn't know.
Honestly, I'm now.
Oh, you're astounding this afternoon.
At my ripe old age, I found out that you speak Luxembourgish. I mean, goodness me. Anyway, so Luxembourgish, Spanish, Portuguese, French, German, and obviously English. And I think, wow, what an amazing guy. I mean, he's had loads of women that have been sending him messages because they want to marry him.
I was not one of them. I'm just letting you know. Helena, we also have another clip. I don't know if you want us to show it or not. The Doodle Boy.
I think we should. It's a light little piece. But anyway, so the Doodle Boy, his real name is Joe Whale. Lovely, lovely little boy. He from a very young age, well, the Doodle Boy says it all. He was always doodling around. He did get on with his work at school and he used to finish things. But what he used to do is any surface, he would be doodling. So he'd go from his books to his pencil case to anywhere he could find his body. And he got into terrible, terrible trouble with school. In Shropshire, he lives and he still lives. And so they were, trying to give him detentions and various things, and his parents just realised actually he's just incredibly creative, and so they put him into art classes at the age of 10, but extracurricular ones, so art clubs after school, and he found one that he excelled in. His teacher thought he was great, put a little clip on her social media, and then all of a sudden people have been like, wanting him to do things, and it started with an Italian restaurant, wanting him to doodle all over the wall, and it's a huge, great big wall. And they thought, goodness, they didn't know whether he'd be able to achieve it, but he did. And he has gone from strength to strength. How do I minimize it? He was doing hospitals. He's been sent over to LA. They asked for him, and he did a stage set, believe it or not. And he's huge now. I mean, he's got so many contracts coming, and he's only 12. He's 12 now. It started at 10. I think we have the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge also commissioned him to do a little drawing of the royal train. I think we've got the royal train, just the picture. They would normally get an artist to do something really elaborate, but that was his quick royal train, and it's done very doodly and very quickly. He was very upset because he didn't get to meet them, but that was due to COVID. But he will meet them very soon. But we also have a clip of him, how he just the way he doodles. I mean, it may be worth showing. It's just a very simple clip. It's a home clip, but I just think it's very sweet. Just as a very little basic background music. If you'd like
Let's
to
take a
show.
look at it.
So that was the Royal Shrewsbury Hospital, and that was the children's A&E area.
Oh.
He's got books coming out, and he's promoting creativity amongst everybody because there's no right or wrong. So he's excelled, and he wants everyone else to excel. In a nutshell, but yeah, great.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that. How long did it actually take him to create that? I mean, it was like 4 minutes, but in reality, how long did it take?
I think it was his dad, in fact, that filmed it. I'm not too sure how long that particular one took. It's on some fast mode, isn't it, or something when it's on. But just he actually works quite quickly. I can't remember. They said that he did the Italian restaurant wall, took him a day or something, and that was like, I don't know, 10 foot by 15 foot or something. He manages just to work just he doesn't. It's never pre-planned, but he just manages to just keep going. Amazing. And just to think, this little boy was in detention for being naughty, and he was just incredibly creative.
I wouldn't have been able to sit down for a month if my parents had taught me doodling on the walls. I mean, that lad's got talent, though. I mean, he really has. I did notice, I presume it was Dad, so quickly sneaking in there, going, quick tweak.
Dad was doing the filming. That's just one of their private, it's a little, not professional video, but it just goes to show he's brilliant, isn't he? And to have imagine having your own books coming out with your own characters and everything. I mean, the world is your oyster, and he's 12.
And I noticed that the Doodle Boy is being trademarked, so that's really cool too.
It is. That's really fabulous.
Yes, Banksy, watch out.
Yes.
It is. It's very similar, isn't it? In a lot of ways, and a lot of these people. I mean, I thought the thing that I was noticing this morning is that a dog's kennel from South America is being auctioned in London today as well. And they reckon it's going to go for $2 million.
Is there a dog in it?
No, there's no dog in it, but it got hit by a meteorite. This dog kennel got hit by a meteorite, and they think that part of the meteorite is still embedded in the kennel. So it's I don't know why I suddenly thought to that.
We're a wealth of information.
Brain was doodling too.
It's because we haven't been fed yet.
Well, I'll share this with you. My sister and brother-in-law were visiting, and they brought my nephew's dog, and they have a huge kennel for this dog. And I don't know what possessed me to get in the kennel with the dog. And my sister filmed the whole thing, and I stayed in there for a while. I wanted to see what the experience was like. They had just washed the blanket that was in there, but I thought, I don't think I'll be doing this again.
No, my dog's got a more comfortable bed than I do. She lives very well.
Is she there right now?
No, it's feeding time for her now. That there's a do not disturb sign on her tail at this time of the day.
Is she eating salmon?
Yes.
Oh,
She loves her salmon. Yes, fresh Scottish salmon. Gives them a nice glossy coat and a wet nose, just like I have.
Now, Simon, a question I have for you. I know if you eat too much tuna because of the mercury content, that's not a good thing. Can you eat salmon every day, and can you eat it twice a day?
I would eat it breakfast, lunch, and dinner, given the chance. I mean, they say whatever you eat, you shouldn't eat too much of. You sort of, have other things as well. In actual fact, tonight we've got, no, it's not salmon tonight, we've got lemon sole tonight, and it's just freshly caught as well. The boat managed to get out between gusts of wind, and it's just beautiful and fresh. It's just so nice just to have that, just very simply, because the flavor in it's so delicate. It's really lovely fish to work with. But it'll be salmon tomorrow night.
Well, we need you back on the United Kitchens, that's for sure.
Yes. That's a thought.
Salmon. I'm Simon. Salmon. I just called you Salmon.
Simon.
Salmon.
Well, we've got a sturgeon as our first minister. A fishy lot in Scotland,
I was going to say, am I right in thinking that salmon is also anti-inflammatory? Is that right? So
it's got so many things that are really good for you. I mean, it was just recently announced they've done some more research into the nutritional value of salmon, and it's now starting to be classed as almost as a superfood, because it's got far more health benefits now than were originally thought. So, I mean, look at me. Maybe don't look at me.
No, you look great. You look very healthy, and you have a wonderful attitude.
Oh, well, I mean, just think of it there. Between Ian and I, we've got 140 years of experience of
Wow, wow.
That is amazing.
Well, I
Now-
won't say what kind of experience we've got, but the people are still alive anyway. That's all right. That's what matters.
When was the last time the three of you actually were in person together?
Well, there's got to be a first time for everything, I suppose, isn't there?
So you have never been in person together?
No, yeah, I mean, who are they?
We'd love to. I mean, I certainly would love to go to Scotland. That's for sure. We keep threatening to come and visit, don't we, Simon? We will.
I think we could wreck a pub in 5 minutes flat, but then we got together.
I love it. I mean, now with the restrictions, as from tomorrow, I think it's as from tomorrow that everything's been. You know,
Yeah, we're a little bit behind the times on that one.
Scotland.
Yeah. I mean, we can still go into pubs. I mean, that's no problem. But I think if the three of us went into a pub, we'd only be invited 3 times. Second time to apologise, and the third time to return the cutlery. You know?
And Diann and I have never met in person either.
No, we haven't.
So none of us have met in person. How about that?
That's weird.
Oh, there we are. Can I introduce you?
Welcome to the modern world. Hey.
Oh, by the way, we do have a comment, and there's several people who have been posting things, and I forgot. So, hello to Maria. Is Maria a friend of anyone's?
Hi, Maria. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Maria. Also, we have Edith Rays, Mercy Best, Charmaine Suddy Woodford, and
hello,
Marie
Charmaine.
McGuire and Michael Chu.
Yeah, Charmaine's in South Africa.
Oh, she's
So
the one
there we
whose
are.
her husband is the chef.
Yes, that's right. So it really is USA Global TV with the emphasis on the global part as well.
Lovely.
Wonderful.
So exciting.
I mean, they've got summer there just now, basking in sunshine, and it's a bit wet here again. Surprise, surprise.
Oh.
Well, it is nice to have people watch us from all over the world. I do want to say hello to our friend Janetta Barry. She's traveling. We had a show today and she's on the road. So we're thinking of you, Janetta. Look forward to seeing you again next week. And any last things that you want to share, Helena and Ian, Simon, Diann, about what you're working on?
Well, I'm still trying to figure out how to chuck a curling stone down the rink and get a pot of gold at the other end. It's a very Scottish sport, and one of the great areas it was played in was actually Scotland's only lake. We do have one, but we've got a heck of a lot of lochs. But Lake of Menteith, it's near Stirling, and they have bonspiels, they call them, as a game of curling. And going back way into the 1800s, and they were having their bonspiels on the Lake of Menteith, and a great social event. And the curling stones themselves all come from a very small island made of granite in the Firth of Clyde called Ailsa Craig. So all the curling stones in the world are taken from stone on Ailsa Craig. Surprisingly, the place hasn't disappeared yet because there are so many curling stones kicking about. But it's a grey granite, and it's a particularly hard granite, so it can stand being battered against one another. But a very Scottish game. The ladies' team who won gold, in actual fact, really is effectively a Scottish team because they are all Scots in that team. So well done on them. A lot of whiskey has been drunk since then, I can assure you.
Thank you, Simon. Helena and Ian?
I mean, Simon was just reminding me that I lived, as I think he knows as well, I think you know, that I lived in Glasgow for 7 years. And the very first year, relatives were coming up for their holidays to come to Scotland and stay with us. So I thought what I would do is that I would look for traditional Scottish attractions to take them to. And of course, the whiskey distillery was high on the list. So the first time I ever went to a distillery, and basically what happens is that you get a fairly good 3 fingers of whiskey for free at the start of your visit, and you're taken around, and they take you to this big vat, And basically they said that anybody who wants to sniff the vat, the fumes, it's very good for you. And stupid people like myself decided this would be a very good thing to do. But there was a sign on the side of the vat saying, if you have false teeth, do not sniff the vat. And for a very good reason, because I sniffed the vat and I thought my head was about to come off. This was the most potent, cold remedy I think you could ever find in your entire life. It would always, and I love Scotland. My mother came from Scotland. I still love, Scottish things, and I had 7 or 8 years, wonderful years in Scotland as well. So it is a wonderful place to visit at the same time.
Did your false teeth fall out?
Waiting for that.
We're all like, well, what are you sharing with us?
My false teeth, but I thought my nose was going to drop off.
No, it's 3 fingers, 3 shots.
Absolutely. So it's that amount of whiskey that you're given at the start as well, and it's a tradition.
Yeah, and a wheelchair at the finish.
Yeah, I was going to say 3 shots, and then you sniff that.
and then you go around, it's like, at one stage I had to report on 25 vineyards in West Australia at one time, and I was drunk for 2 weeks. We used to forget to spit out. It was consumed, so it was like the whiskey. As I say, the whiskey is fabulous.
Yes, well, we've got plenty of over 1,500 different types of whiskey. Yeah. When I had my smoking business, I used oak chips, which were cut from whiskey barrels. So I would go with the car and the trailer over to cooperage in Craigellachie in Spey Valley, and I would load up with bags of these oak chippings. Now, in the barrels, when they've been used, it's called the angel share, because the whiskey itself gets into the wood, impregnates into the wood and stays there. The fumes that come off that are really quite interesting. So I'd have the trailer loaded up with these bags, but I'd also load the car with the bags as well. And regardless of the weather, I would have to drive with the windows down and the sunroof open, because if you didn't, the fumes would really get you. And I mean, just imagine being stopped with the police, and they take one sort of sniff in the car and say, "Right, boy, out." Oddly enough, we had a local policeman a number of years ago in the tiny little village in the middle of nowhere where I lived. He hated paperwork. So he had a very clever method of dealing with drunk drivers or suspected drunk drivers. He'd stop you and he'd wind the window down. And if he could smell drink, he'd take the keys out of your ignition and throw them up into the heather. And says, when you can find those, you'll be sober. And it worked every time. It was amazing. On a Sunday morning, cars parked at odd angles through along the road, and people scrabbling around in the heather trying to find their keys. A regular sight in the area.
Did you have personal experience with this, Simon, or you were just a voyeur?
I'm pleading the Fifth Amendment.
It just reminds me of another story that I had to do when I worked in Scotland, and I forget which island it was on now, but there was a gentleman called Hamish McSporran. Now, could you get a name like that anywhere else other than Scotland? Hamish McSporran. And Hamish McSporran was the local policeman, but he was the postman. He did 14 different jobs. Hamish McSporran.
That's gear. Yeah, I like gear.
I mean, and we went over, and I went over to sort of do this feature on Hamish McSporran, and he was shaking his head in disbelief. And I said, "What's the matter?" He said, "I've lost one of my jobs." So he'd gone down from 14 to 13 jobs on the islands.
You know what is really amazing? I think you have all done some serious broadcasting, reporting, journalism, but yeah, you've done some things that are fun as well, right?
Yeah.
You've reported on stories that have had major impact across the world, but yet at the same time, you can do other things that are lighthearted.
You just have to have fun, don't you? I mean, that's one of my biggest things. I think actually since COVID, that's one of my mantras. You've just got to have fun. And you can actually find fun in most things. It just keeps you going.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you've got to, because I mean, at times, you know, obviously, we both reported a lot on Prince Philip's death last year and the funeral, you know, and so there's some pretty heavy occasions, you know, when we're really working against the odds for many days, you know, as well. So it can be quite tiring, to sort of say the least, you know. And you know, I think it is. It's you know, at times when the two of us are working, you know, on events like that, and you have to be so mentally correct as well in everything that we're saying. So there's a lot of energy put into it, and then afterwards, that's why we have our sandwiches, you know. And our cookies and our potato chips, you know, we need all that energy refueling, but we don't have a whiskey. So, you know, thinking about it, perhaps we should start looking at but we've got the smoked salmon, Simon, but we're, you know.
Well, you're halfway there.
Diann, are you a whiskey drinker?
No, but unless it's in a punch. And so I was actually going to send you a private message. And if you want, I'll send you this wonderful punch that you use an entire bottle of Southern Comfort in, and Nellie is having a great time.
Nobody knows who anybody is by the end of that.
Definitely put the lights out that way.
Ian's like, yes, I'd like to have that recipe right now.
It's true. I've got a particular malt which I like. I like Islay malts, Simon.
Yes. Good.
And it's in it. And there was a story years ago that the peat bogs were going to be banned from using the water, or they were trying to stop Islay whiskey being produced, and there was an outcry across the world.
Yeah, there's all sorts of talk about the peat bogs, and people are going to be stopped from cutting peat, but let them try. I mean, Islay is actually about the nearest island to me, which is great. You know, it's like a larder for me. It's lovely. That there are some fabulous whiskies coming from Islay. If you got all the roads and farm tracks and everything all strung end to end there, it would stretch to about 52 miles. And there are 9 major distilleries there. So, it's an interesting island to go to. I've been there many times. I can't remember much about coming back for some odd reason. It might be something in the water.
Maybe we should talk to that police officer and see. Oh, always so much fun with you guys. Thank you again. So I'm going to spotlight each of you, as we always do, and I'd love for you to share how people can reach out and who you would like to contact you. And let's change up. We're going to start with Diann.
Sure. My name's Diann Floyd Boehm, and you can reach me at diannfloydboehm.com. And if you're interested in reading all about children's books or a young adult historical fiction that'll inspire you to be the best that you can be and what you're meant to be, then visit my website to learn more. Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn.
Thank you, Diann. And let's go over to Simon.
I send a carrier pigeon. You know, we can always deal with them, and I've got good recipes for them too. Or you can get me on Macdonald Simon at ymail.com. That's the letter Y, mail.com, not a G. And it's MACDONALD. I had to think how to spell my own name there. I haven't even had my first whiskey yet. Dear, oh dear. Craft. I won't tell you what that stands for. But so you can get me there. I'm on Facebook, Simon Macdonald. It's an easy one. And if you see me scrabbling around in the heather at the side of the road as well, looking for my car keys, well, stop me and ask.
Thank you so much, Simon. We've shared your contact information with everyone. And over to Helena and Ian.
So please do get in touch. I just really simply either my Gmail, hcpresenter@gmail.com, and my name, Helena Chard, Chard, on Twitter or Instagram, probably the best. So it'd be lovely to hear from people. And Ian never likes to give his out, but everyone can find him just in 2 seconds. So I don't know why he doesn't. Come on.
It's not
He's trying to be shy and demure, and it's not. You know. I don't need to say a word. Come on.
It's not that I don't. It's just I get inundated, with messages anyway. But it's the thing I would say is that I always take it very kindly when people send messages to me, and it's quite easy to get hold of me. I think I'm known as the Royal King or something. I'm not actually.
And moving swiftly on. Do you know that patriotic Welsh farmers, they want to protect their leeks? And I just wonder whether Simon cooks with leeks. I just was a wonder. Seeing as
I missed that one. I was still trying to spell my name.
So what I was saying was that patriotic Welsh farmers, because I've got Welsh in me, I thought I'd put a bit of Welsh because we've had Scottish. They're trying to protect their leeks. So I was wondering whether you cook with leeks with your salmon and fish. And also, it's nearly St David's Day, which I think is quite soon, in a few days, isn't it? So I thought, in a higgledy-piggledy way, it all works.
Yeah, leeks again, they're so good for you, and and there's so many recipes you can use them with, just about any kind of recipe. Wonderful with fish, because there's a delicacy about the texture and a delicacy about the flavor, which just works very, very nicely with fish, in particular with whitefish as well. And the leeks as well, chopped leeks is a great thickener for a sauce as well. If you're doing say fish pie, then you're using your fish and your cream and mushrooms and what have you. But if you add leeks to it, it just helps to thicken the sauce. There's useless information for today.
Tell me, why is it every week I feel so hungry at the end of this?
I'm starving.
You guys all got me in the mood to go make a bourbon cake. How's that?
Wow, I love it.
Save us a slice. Wow.
My wife made the most delicious shortbread last week as well. I love shortbread, but I mean, one mouthful of shortbread and suddenly you just balloon out, and the weight goes piling on, and it's a great battle of wills in the household to when the shortbread is being made, the smell is unbelievable. And I'm allowed a little crumb now and again, and it's so frustrating. I can't eat too much.
Well, who's she making it for then, if it's not for you?
Well, that's it. I wonder.
Where's that policeman?
That's why I haven't been stopped recently. Yes.
We had some bananas here that were going bad, and I was so sad because but I used to always take bananas and make chocolate chip banana bread with brown sugar on top of it. I made that for years and years, and I haven't done it in about a year, and I'm so sad because I really want it, but I can't, because then I'll have to do more exercise, and there's just not enough time in the day.
I tell you what, you pass the recipe to all of us and we'll eat it for you.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
It's one of my favorites, but anyway, I really am so happy that we did this show again. Thank you for your time. And I love those clips that you brought, Helena. They're fabulous. We get to see all different kinds of things on this show. And Simon, thank you so much. Ian, Diann, it's just a pleasure working with you all. And just like friends sitting around, but not eating. We're not eating or drinking anything.
Yeah, I'm just looking. I can just see my candles in the screen behind me there. Suddenly, it's taken a bit of a lean to starboard, and I'm sort of thinking, okay, it's that time of day again.
All right, everyone. Well, we look forward to seeing you next week. Simon, you will not be here next week. You'll be here the week after.
I'll be here to annoy you all the week after. Yes.
Well, we look forward to it.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Take
Bye.
care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. As I mentioned, our first show we didn't do because my co-host and our guests were actually both traveling. So we postponed the art of creating mental health wealth. You can see it again next week at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We've got a full day of shows today, tomorrow, and Friday. And in case you're just joining us, we do broadcast Monday through Friday. And a plug that I just want to make for myself is for anyone who is interested in learning how to listen, being with other people who actually do listen to you, and being part of a community where we share education, meditation, and all kinds of tips for inner peace. Please do go to my personal website, which is drjacalyn.com/join, to become a member of the Elevated Listening Community. Each week on Sunday, I will provide you with a 30-minute video, and that video starts off with a guided meditation by me. I'm a certified meditation teacher. And from there, I will recap all the highlights from every show that we have. So obviously, I'm doing my best to listen all the time and share with you from 22 shows every week, the highlights, how you can get in touch with our guests and our special correspondents, as well as our co-hosts. And then I will also share tips for listening. Once a month, we will have an elevated listening meeting, which is a meet and greet. It's a networking session where all of the community members can meet one another and share ideas and then reach out to each other to collaborate on your own projects. So I hope you will join me in that initiative. All right. Thank you again. We'll be coming back shortly with another program. Thank you to our special correspondents, Simon, Helena, and Ian. And thank you so much to Diann, Floyd, Boehm. It's just a pleasure having you here. I'm going to end the show with a beautiful video. It's by Lindsay, and the name of the song is I Breathe for You. Let's take a look. You can download her music over on iTunes. It's just